I do actually think that we're having a Western gaming crash. This might sound crazy, but I think it is legitimately
Hmm.
happening. The reason why,
Yeah, it became politics instead of actually making a video game. It's not about entertainment anymore. It's about politics. And then the people that wants to show their agenda to shove, shove their agenda through other people's throats, and they are basically, you could even say, investing in the gaming industry, and then they want to just basically it's just brainwashing kids.
like like identity politics and like woke shit in games,
Straight
10,
up.
20% of it. The rest of it is that games are so safe and so boring now, people just don't care about playing them.
Yeah, I think that's also the reason the games are just made for Twitter people nowadays, not for actual gamers that actually play the game. I mean, if you're a good gamer, you don't even use Twitter, dude. Like nobody uses Twitter that actually plays video games. Like that's just bullshit.
Thank
You
fuck.
know?
Yeah, it's been happening. It is.
This is a real tweet from Xbox. They said, "You don't know
Ah,
it, but you're living in one of the greatest ages of all right now."
wait, is that exclusive Xbox exclusive? You are here?
Posting
Why would they do
Ah,
this? It had to be an ad?
modern age.
Uh,
Wait, does that game even runs well on your console? Like, what is this?
this image, timeline through the ages: ancient age,
mhm.
medieval age,
Flop.
modern age, contemporary age, and dragon age, the Veil Guard. You are
Wait, this says
Does even computer exist in this time? What is this the years, dude? Ancient age invention of raiding, 3000 to 464. Invention of raiding. Medieval age, fall of Roman Empire, French Revolution, Russian Dream is the first map of the globe. And then Dragon Age Vega. The balls to. Oh my god, the audacity to put this on the. They have to make a graphics flowchart of this? God, you gotta be kidding me.
let's read this. Contemporary age, the French Revolution. And the French Revolution ended in 2023. Who
Are you
the fuck
fucking
made
kidding me?
this? What? What are
Are
we
you
talking
kidding
about?
me? Somebody failed their fifth
Oh my
grade history
god.
class.
here.
That's a
Yeah,
long ass
because
revolution,
Veilguard
yeah.
is clearly the greatest thing ever,
That's
best
exactly
game
the
of all
people who
time.
watches
And I
the
know they're
face.
joking around a little bit, but so many people have seriously been trying
This
to
is
prop
silly.
this game up.
What is with this face? Why
And
haven't
as you
you
might
given this guy
expect, the
this much?
comments are not really agreeing with Xbox.
Yeah, I guess
So many
so.
corpos and their bootlickers have been going crazy lately, enraged that
Dragon
gamers
Ball
have been
Sparking
winning
Zero.
simply by refusing
I gave this game a 7. So you can assume what I gave
to buy
Dragon Age
games
Veilguard.
from many.
Imagine that the consumer actually had all the power all along, but people didn't want to accept
Mm-hmm.
it. That's always been the case. Is consumers have always had all the
Snap back
power.
to reality,
You
bitch.
can make the decision and you can change the way that businesses work just simply by voting with your money.
Yeah.
Of these corrupt
Same
Western
goes for
AAA
voting with
companies. This is
votes, you
something
know.
that I've talked about quite a lot recently, and now in this video, even more examples have come up.
Mm-hmm.
Over on Indie 100, Jake Brigstock made this article titled
More
More
why
than
am I?
More than
1,500
1,500
games
gets
have
a
been rated
wild
on
woke
wild, quote,
detector. What the
woke
hell is
detector,
that?
unquote.
Oh.
An online group has firmly brought the culture war of
What's about is more than half of them not recommended because they contain pieces that are considered woke. An online group firmly about the culture war of woke and anti-woke into video. There is no anti-woke or not. It's just a differentiation between a character that is likable and a character that's being an obnoxious piece of shit that just wastes your time. You know, that's pretty much it. As more than 1,500 titles, like I want to hear some of those. Woke detector Excel spreadsheet. I want to see that. I want to see this spreadsheet. The 100,000 fire. I'm kind of looking for a game to play. what a world in we live. What haven't been able to enjoy games? Yeah, you could have just given us a game that we can enjoy, but instead you made Dragon Age Veilguard with Tosh.
Woke and anti-woke into video games.
It's been in video games for a long time. It's not anything new.
More than
Yeah,
1,500
absolutely.
titles have been rated on an absurdly wild quote-unquote woke detector Excel spreadsheet. And that's not the worst part. More than half of them listed are not recommended because
It's just a random loser journalist that just fucking wanting attention. They just made a clickbait freaking article about this on a random website that has 20 ads and nobody even visits on.
they contain details and features that are
You know?
considered woke. What did you expect from something titled woke detector?
I went into this fucking restaurant. It was called Longhorn Steakhouse. They had a bunch of fucking steaks there. I can't believe it. I'm a fucking vegan. What is this? This is disgusting.
Yeah, I am being
How is that
offended.
surprising? I love how he says that's not even the worst part, though. Like, you can clearly tell that he's upset by this spreadsheet thing.
Oh, of course
he
he
then
is.
posts an example of transgender character Serona Ryan from Hogwarts
Yeah.
Legacy. But this seems like the worst
Wait, I don't even see her. Like I
example he
don't
could have
even
used.
see her in
Hogwarts
that game.
Legacy, it was like the activist types on like Twitter, like the armchair activist types who were really upset by this game, saying that to like boycott it.
Yeah, they
and
were real
making like
mad.
lists of streamers who streamed it, hunting people like peeking me down. Like
That was
how would
so
you use
stupid.
This example? This example hurts your argument. Look, I'll even say that I
Well, here's the problem with like the woke lists. The reason why they're problematic is because there's not a like they're a binary system. Like for example, like they'll categorize a game like Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3 as woke because Elden Ring doesn't use male and female, they use body type 1 and 2. Or they'll
Yeah, that's a bit
categorize
stupid.
Baldur's Gate as woke because you can have like gay relationships. And I
Yeah,
think that
that
it's a
makes no
huge
sense.
problem with like that group of people that are like trying to fixate on figuring out which games are and are not woke because they don't know how
Ah.
to categorize them as a tier list. Like
Wait, it could be that just the woke supporters just making the list more convoluted so people don't take it seriously. So their woke game can get a free pass, you know. So they just wanted to muddy the water so you don't see the freaking shit beneath it. Pretty
you might
much.
think that Baldur's Gate 3 is
Yeah, it's like a thousand like a big brain thought I have right there, but we never know,
woke,
you know.
that's fine. But everybody knows it's not as woke as like, I don't know, Dragon Age,
Mm.
right? So that's really the issue.
It's just my
It's that there's
tinfoil
not like
hat
a
theory.
tier list or a power ranking for them.
I've seen some games that get not recommended on these type of lists that do seem like whoever put them on said list is taking too extreme of a stance on, like making too big of a deal out of things on occasion. However,
sure.
plenty of times the not recommended posts are very reasonable, like simply not wanting to buy the very shoehorned in fake corporate DI slop stuff. Of course, people don't want to buy games that come off fake and preachy. Who would
Yeah,
want to get
it's
lectured by a
obvious.
bunch of lame corpos? I also find it hilarious when armchair activist types get all mad at gamers when they refuse to buy products from corporations. It's like
That's what they're getting mad about. See, and the reason why is that, like, if we think about, so let's go ahead and let's do something kind of funny.
Wait, what is he talking about? Once again? He's too fast, so I barely
things
even
on
paid
occasion.
attention to
And
him.
list is taking too extreme of a stance on, like making too big of a deal out of things on occasion.
Yeah,
However,
sure.
plenty of times the not recommended posts are very reasonable, like simply not wanting to buy the very shoehorned in fake corporate DI slop stuff. Of course, people don't want to buy games that come off fake and preachy. Who would
Yeah,
want to get lectured by a
obvious.
bunch of lame corpos? I also find it hilarious when armchair activist types get all mad at gamers when they refuse to buy products from corporations. It's like
That's what they're getting mad about. See, and the reason why is
Ah,
that, like, if we think about,
what he said, I still don't understand it. Armchair activist, what?
Gee, who would
Yeah,
want to get
it's
lectured by a
obvious.
bunch of lame corpos? I also find it hilarious when armchair activist types get all mad at gamers when they refuse to buy products from corporations.
Yeah, I see.
It's like-
I
that's what
see.
they're getting mad about. See, and the reason why is that, like, if we think about,
Yeah, that
let's,
makes
let's
sense.
go ahead and let's do something kind of funny. Biggest games of the year.
Metaphor.
Wukong,
Wukong. Chinese.
Chinese dev.
China.
Metaphor.
China game. Japanese. Japan game.
Japan dev. Final Fantasy VII.
Japan.
Rebirth.
Japan.
Japan dev.
What about Helldivers? Is Helldivers from Japan too?
Stellar Blade.
That's Japan.
Korean.
Japanese or Chinese? Korean? Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to see a pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Pow World. Japan dev.
Think Japanese? Ah.
Elden Ring.
Japanese?
Japan dev.
Okay.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dragon's
dev.
Dog Shit 2? Japan. Okay. Yakuza.
Ooh,
Yakuza like a dragon.
Concord. American dev.
Concord. America.
Okay.
This is America.
Monster
Let's
Hunter.
go.
Japan.
Japan.
Ooh. Helldivers 2. Fair.
Helldivers, I think American. American or European?
Finnish?
Finnish?
Where were they from again? I don't remember.
Poland? Sweden?
Swedish? European dev.
European?
Euro dev.
Okay, there we go. I was right.
I think that's fair. Yeah, Sweden. Okay. Space Marine 2. Fair.
Space Marine,
where was Saber
Russian?
Interactive? I think they're American, right? Oh, they're Russian.
Russian.
Oh.
How was I right?
Oh.
I just saw that, and then I saw the cult, and then I assumed, okay, that's from Russia. You know?
Did we make any good
Like, I
games
just
this year?
stereotyped the fuck out of it. I apologize for that, but still, I got it right.
Did we make a good game this year? No, not us. No, I'm saying, like, did we make a single good game? Saber is in Florida. They just have a Russian studio. Okay. All right,
Florida.
all right.
Fair enough.
Maybe Saber's American. Okay, why are people saying Russian? Okay. U.S. dev. Okay, we've got one. We're saved. Everything's fine. But let's look at this. Western game dev has a huge problem. Massive, tremendous problem.
Like they're mad that gamers are actually better activists than they are. At the time of writing, 403 titles in the document are recommended, 323 are informational, and a staggering 824, it's staggering, 824 games are rated.
Oh, can I see that list though? I want to see that list. What's that list is called? The Woke Content Detector. Wait, there is a name for that. I want to look up that list and then see
with
what
some
games are in
hugely
there.
successful titles in there. There were corners
I think
of the internet
Asmongold
that were
himself
up in
is gonna
arms
pull
because
that
a
off.
transgender character in Serona Ryan was included in Hogwarts Legacy when it released in February 2023. Once again,
Yeah, because there's a lot of people. So this is what these people don't understand. So when he's saying there are corners of the internet, do you want to know what corners of the internet are? They're called corners of the globe. So you have an international platform where people from all across the world, across multiple cultures, religions, races, and also nationalities, are discussing topics. And in some of those corners, being transgender is against the law, or it's not viewed in a positive light.
Yeah,
So,
I
big
think India is
surprise.
kind of one of them. Like, if you are in the transgender, you are fucked beyond belief.
Some people on the internet don't agree with things.
Absolutely. You need people to not like that. Like, we don't even know what that is. Like, we don't have any meaning for woke, like, at all. Like, we have movies about them, yes, but it's very popular, yes, but it is not a socially acceptable thing you can do here at all. Does that mean it's bad? Yeah, I'm not sure. You know?
That are literally against the law in their country.
I just literally don't know. Like, Indian people have their own culture. Like, you can't just shoehorn in that into us. Like, are we trying to make you freaking worship an elephant? Are we doing that? So you should stay on your lane, pretty much.
I'm sick of these people going and acting like this is some kind of a problem here when
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about this is a global internet. This is a global platform. Of
Absolutely.
course, you're going to have people
People with the different cultures, different languages, different thoughts, different feelings are showing up in that open platform. Of
that
course.
disagree. Yeah, meanwhile, in the secret HQ of modern evidence, yes, the internet's worldwide. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we have a toxic positivity game community? Well, I don't know.
I think that is true as well. Toxic positivity in gaming is actually true. Like that's because that's the problem with the Western culture. Like they just go in certain extremes. Like they just go full nuclear, or they just go full war. There is no middle ground at all. That's the problem. They don't have a mutual understanding, or they don't compromise. They just go full giga nuclear every time.
Hogwarts Legacy wasn't a great game. It wasn't woke. It had one trans character into the game.
Yeah.
I don't think it was woke either. I'm just telling you, like, it
Like I have never even seen her
shouldn't be a surprise that there are people
in the
out there that are not
Hogwarts.
fans of transgenders because the internet is worldwide and
Mhm.
people on the internet come from cultures and from nationalities where it is literally illegal to be transgender.
I think that's not the main issue. Like that's not even a problem. Like it's a video game, even though it's against their laws. Maybe they won't let you sell the game in their country. That is a possibility. But the underlying factor is you are writing those characters. Like people don't hate something because it's just against their what do you call it feelings or anything like that. People hate something, like people don't dislike something because it's bad. You know, like there are so many people that just have. Well, people are not just bots. They just don't get insta aggroed as soon as they see the word work. Like there are some people like that, but not all of them are. The majority are just they have open mind, especially when they are playing video games. They just want a good product. That's the end of the story. Like you can have a good work character that's black, transgender, gay, and then a freaking lesbian as well. It's no problem at all. Like that's not even an issue. You're just writing a bad story. You know, get good, pretty
I feel like
much.
this is such a cold take.
Like yeah, I kind of disagree with that. People do have open minds on that.
And this is a terrible example. Like, I can't believe this guy's actually
Yeah.
writing this. Does he actually think this, or is he trying to like rewrite history here? Because
Like if you written trash in a good, likable character, people would just have her in a pedestal. You know. Like there are so many other characters that are female, and then there are like they. That's the problem. They just don't have a good character, you know, as an inspiration.
if I recall,
It's as simple as that. We have a Superman for America, right? Superman is a very inspirational character, right? We have Batman, we have freaking Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is an indication for a woman, right? Write a good character like that, you know.
it was the boycott Hogwarts Legacy people that were all upset with Serona Ryan. They were saying the name Serona was transphobic because
Like make a character that's unique. You can't just pull Spider-Man and then give him tits. That's not gonna work. You can't just pull Superman and give him tits and then say it's a Supergirl. Like people won't get a what do you call it? Like, attracted towards those kind of stuff. You gotta come up with something unique and from the ground up. You know,
like the Sir.
if you can't, just make a character like in a Fate Stay Zero. I think in Fate they just completely made what's that king's name? I think King Arthur. They just made King Arthur a girl, and it worked there. What's the reason? Because they read a good character. That's the reason. They completely made King Arthur a girl. Straight up. Historically, that's not even true. But people love Saber. It's just you were just bad at doing it. That's as simple as that. You know?
They were like, of course Hogwarts Legacy's trans character would be named Serona Ryan.
And then we got a trap. Like what's his name? Astolfo, I think his name. Like the writer, he was also a likable character. You just suck at getting a good character. That's all. Like it has nothing to do with the restrictions or anything.
And this is a transphobic dog whistle.
You know?
And it was actually a lot of the pro Hogwarts Legacy
Yeah.
people defending that trans
I
character.
absolutely. I will be against someone just immediately get aggro mode as soon as they see like transgender people or something like the gay people or anything. I am completely against that. If you get mad about that, that's it. You have to give them space. Like you have to respect their feelings and what do you call it? Decisions in their life, so they can respect yours. So that's not the problem. Like you gotta just have a better thing, better person, like a
By
character.
citing
That's
this
it.
Celtic deity, Serona, he then says,
Uh-huh.
unsurprisingly,
Like our god. Here's the funny part. Like our god, like a Hindu god, like Shiva, is a combination of a man and a woman. So we literally worship a person that's technically can be portrayed as a transgender people. Like I am not sure if I'm right because I'm a Christian, but I don't know much about Hindus religion that much. But from what I heard, Shiva is a combination of a man and a woman. We literally worship that dude, and he is the god of death. God of death and rebirth. Like we literally have a god that signifies transgender people. Straight up. Like it's not even a problem. Like you just make a shit story. That's it.
the proverb,
None of these people care about that issue. They're just looking for something to complain about.
Yeah.
real woke content detectors curate a list of games, does not recommend Hogwarts Legacy.
Let's be honest.
So as I mentioned earlier, I do think sometimes the people making those lists, or at least posting, like partaking in the lists, are too extreme. This being one of those examples.
Proverbial woke list contains 1800 Scotland, somehow has diverse LGBTQ characters, uses body type instead of biological sex.
Yeah, that's not even a problem. Like who cares?
I feel like that's fair. I mean, like there's no logical reason other than a woke reason to use body type instead of biological sex.
Yeah, but it's just a nothing burger though. Like nobody is gonna even pay attention to it. I just picked the body type here and then moved on in Elden Ring. Like who even sits there and think about that? All I think about is my character looks like shit. How I make the character pretty? That's what I think when I make a character. You know? Who cares their pronouns?
I can't think of a single logical reason.
But I do
why that
appreciate the options. It gives me more variety to create for creation. Absolutely.
would be the case. Doesn't make any sense.
What are you watching?
Like Hogwarts
I'm
Legacy,
already
I think
watching
it's a
how Western games are kind of
cool
dying.
game. So, it's just my opinion. Moving on. Oh, first, one more thing. I did check the list to be sure he wasn't making this up, and yeah,
It's
that is
true.
on there.
Yeah.
This is sadly
right.
just one example of hundreds and hundreds, with each one having a similar format. None of the recent Call of Duty titles are recommended because of emblems containing pride flags. Forza Horizon 5 isn't either because the pronouns they, them can be chosen, and Bully Scholarship Edition must have caused repulsion among those who made this wretched list. Because players can.
Well, yeah, big surprise. Like a lot of people don't accept that there are more than two genders. Like this is another component that these people don't seem to understand.
Yeah.
Is that I would say
Oh,
like
he's talking about the people that just straight up doesn't want these kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also fair.
the
I mean, you gotta respect their. So how is the game crashing? Because they are using some woke stuff. Do you know what woke stuff is? Like lesbian, gay stuff, and transgender people. Like they are just including so much of them. So that's why people just don't like them. Like in general. Are you woke? I mean, I am kind of awake, so I'm talking. I'm not.
massive
Other than that, I'm not.
overwhelming majority of the world that's on the internet
Let's just say I
thinks
have an
there's two
open mind.
genders. Whether you agree with them or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that this is a minority opinion. What are we talking about? What? Why? Well, it's unbelievable.
I'm also woke now.
90%, is it? I don't know if it's 90%. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the woke we know. Yes, I am awake. I am woke. You are woke as well. We both have to sleep.
It's such a huge amount of people.
True.
And so, isn't it transphobic? I don't know. Genders and sex are different.
Wait, what?
How many people do you think give a fuck about that distinction? Really? Like, I mean, really, ask yourself the question, how many people actually give a fuck about it? And I'm not talking about just here in America. I'm talking about across the entire world. That's not going to work. Oh, yeah, it's such a small, minor amount of people. Some people make the poll here. We don't need to make a poll here. What I'm saying is that I find it to be very annoying that people write these articles complaining about how, you know, people on the internet are not inclusive, but we have a global internet. If we had an internet that for in some way, only allowed people to post from like America, then you probably wouldn't see this stuff be as popular. The reason why this stuff is getting really popular, the guy that made the original DEI detected list is from South America.
Oh.
Get an achievement for kissing other boys with the lead male character. Video games are for absolutely everyone, and an entitled select few should not hold any influence when it comes to so-called recommending games on if they have content deemed woke.
Video games are absolutely for everyone, and the entitled few, an entitled select few should not hold any influence when it comes to so-called recommending games.
You can use that same sentence against the woke people, straight up. You can literally use that same word.
Why not?
Yeah. You don't have to change anything there, and then you can just straight up put the same sentence against the woke people.
Ironic?
You know?
It is really ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, that's what they're doing? Yeah, the lack of self-awareness is unbelievable.
Do us all a favor, get over it, and just enjoy playing. So yeah, you guys already know my opinion here. I think sometimes the list makes some good points, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're too extreme and sound silly, but I do enjoy how they make corpos mad. Even if I disagree with some of the things these lists are saying on there, I do find them amusing because of that fact. Let me know what you guys think about all that, and now moving on to the next part of this video. Mike Rose.
Jesus, what the hell happened to his keyboard? Look at that.
Let me know what you guys think about all that, and now moving on to the next part of this
God
video.
damn.
Mike
He was
Rose.
like
This
three
is so
keyboards there.
fucking silly, man.
Okay,
It's so fucking silly that because
I
here's
think
really
he's
what the
more
problem
balanced.
is. They want you to not be able to express what your opinion
He plays devil's advocate most of the time. He just talks about for both sides.
is. They fundamentally want to take away your right to speech, and they want to have your opinion censored, and they want it to be where you are not allowed to have this type of an opinion. That is crazy. Absolutely insane. No, they don't. They just don't like all the hate. So then they don't want you to have your opinion. They say that you're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to express their opinion because they think that that opinion is hateful. That's exactly what they're saying.
He goes, hello, Madam G.
Yeah,
You
it's
play, what do
literally
you
that
play on
simple.
stream? I play some variety of games. Mostly I play Souls-like, story games. Sometimes I'm just doing reacting content now. Because I haven't found a good game yet. Once I find a good game, I will just straight up play that
Don't be a
game for
hateful
8
cunt.
hours straight.
I don't like the idea that because some people have opinions that you consider problematic, that then they shouldn't be having a right to have that opinion.
Sometimes Kata,
Unless
sometimes
they're
they get
openly
easy.
advocating for
True.
violence or like threatening violence, then I think
I
they should
play
be able to
random
have an
stuff.
opinion on whatever they want. That's the way it is. Who decides what hate is? Who decides who watches the watchmen? Who watches the people? Who's the one that's determining what is and isn't okay to say? Well, that
Super
changes,
random
doesn't
for
it?
sure. True.
And that's why it's a
True.
problem. You can't let somebody make those decisions.
Man, that's deep.
It's a pretext. Yeah, it's a pretext for control. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I
He's
think people
breaking
have
the
realized
matrix.
what the
Somebody
conclusion
stop
for
him.
this is because it's happened so many times.
Part of this
Later,
video, Mike Rose over on his Blue Sky
yeah, in
account
terms of baldness,
made
yes.
this post on Blue Sky with over 10,000 likes. A lot of people over there love this
I'm going to be surprised. I didn't know Blue Sky had 10K users.
take, it seems. He says, everyone trying to work out why video games aren't selling anymore. Quote, too many games, prices are too low,
Yeah.
marketing is hard,
Prices are
unquote.
too low.
When
What?
the answer this
Wait. Why are video games are not selling anymore? Too many games. Prices are too. Who the fuck writes something like this? Prices are too low. What? Either this guy doesn't know how to text in English or he has some issues.
time around is actually simple. The world got
Why the fuck people would pay more for anything? Who would do that?
destroyed and no one has any money. People are struggling to pay bills and rent, let alone buy your game. Look, things have definitely been a mess, but when it comes to the gaming industry, largely the games
The funny thing about what he's saying is actually it's been found out that in recessionary and economic bad times, people will end up spending more money on luxury goods in some cases and entertainment goods to distract themselves from their real lives. And that's why you can see a lot of games even this year, like Black Myth
Absolutely, that's actually true. Like they will try to get away from the real life by playing a video game. Absolutely, that's true. That's why most of the good games getting more support.
Wukong sold 20 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
You had other games like Helldivers was so popular. You
Yeah.
also have what do you call it? Like Dragon's
So
Dogma 2
this
that was kind of
color is
popular.
like the Prince of
I think
Persia,
this is
the
an
one factory
entirely
on
fake
it.
premise.
Okay, I'm
Visible
gonna copy
luxuries,
that
yeah,
and then put
exactly.
it on my Discord. You can
not
just
getting
suggest me
bought
on my
are
Discord as well if
AAA
you join
slop.
that.
And that post seems like it's
I will
trying
check
to
them all.
it's trying to make excuses
Yeah.
for these AAA companies. And when I say AAA companies, I'm also specifically talking about Western AAA. I should have specified that, but I'm clarifying it now.
Yeah, Capcom is hiring more people. From Software increased their base salary. This whole idea that video games are in some sort of a depression is not true.
Yeah,
Video
completely
games aren't
false.
in a depression. Western development studios are.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
A lot of gaming companies in
Ooh, the Assassin's Creed Shadows is gonna be so good, you know?
Asia, for example, have been
We got our black token, black samurai. It's gonna work out so well.
doing great. Last month, FromSoft even announced that they were increasing the average basic salary
example.
pay by around
Right there.
11.8%.
So true.
And what's really
Absolutely.
funny is that the gaming companies over in Asia that are struggling right now
Yeah.
are often the ones that are adopting Western practices like DEI. For example, as I talked about just yesterday, a recent financial report from Square Enix was so bad that it caused a massive sell-off of their stock and the market
Jesus.
cap loss of around $350 million. This
Jesus.
follows their partnership
Farmer Square Enix, Sweet Baby Inc., client Square Enix takes a 350 million hit in value as stock plummets. Ooh. Jesus
cap loss
Christ.
of around $350 million.
Jesus.
This follows their partnership with Sweet Baby Inc. and their further involvement with practices as mentioned like DI, which you can see them pushing all
I don't think that's the reason, by the way. I like that's like maybe like a small percentage. It's probably a single-digit percentage of the reason why.
over their website. In my coverage, to be fair, I did also mention other issues
It's
not
one
related
reason.
to that.
Sure.
For example, the price of their games and how many people find them to be too costly, among other things.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact still stands that the Western policies they've been adopting certainly don't seem to be helping when other major gaming companies in Asia are not adopting those policies and are seeing extreme success. On top
I
of
think people want to use video games as a form of escapism. And anytime that
It's just that it's this he just saying it as a form of escapism. Oh my god, I can't even speak. Escapism is nothing new. It's always has been like that. People just want to play a video game to get away from real life. Duh. You know? No
people
shit.
feel like the video game that they're playing is
Why do you think the Ready Player One movie was that popular? What do you think the reason for? Yeah.
involving itself with something that removes that
Problem, but,
escapism, it's going to lower their interest in the game for that reason.
True.
And because like fundamentally they can't escape out of the game now or escape out of their real life now because they feel like their real life has been put into the game.
that, we can see more
It's pretty
evidence
simple.
of these policies hurting Western companies when you take a look at games like SSK. The
It's not in the sense it's just a world problem. It's a problem to the point that most of the gaming industry from Western is kind of dying. You know, people getting fired. What do you call it? They're losing jobs. The console, the Xbox is dead. Like it was gotten bad to the point Xbox as a console is dead now.
and now that apparently
Yeah,
cost Warner
let
Brothers
that
around
sink in.
$200 million.
Jesus.
Of course, also Concord and the massive loss.
Oh, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. He probably didn't want to say the words to not get demonetized. I understand. Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
That was, and recently Dragon Age the Veilguard, which, while isn't as disastrous as Concord, seems like they're struggling to even hit break-even point based off all the current metrics. And when I say they,
I think that, I mean, Dragon Age, it's not a terrible game. It's just not a very good game either. It's like just it's fantasy Starfield. Like, honestly, I'd say probably maybe Starfield might have been a little bit better. Yeah, it's just it's a mid game, right? And also, like, here's another problem with Dragon Age. Is it like, how many of you guys actually played Dragon Age? Like, actually played the game? Okay, nobody's played the game. For those of you that have played the game, have you run into the same problem where, like, after you get past, like, level 20 or, like, 25 or so, you feel like you're just spamming the same few abilities with, like, you know, hitting bosses or mobs that have, like, just a ridiculous amount of health? Like, the gameplay doesn't really feel dynamic or anything? It's very repetitive.
It doesn't change anywhere.
Yeah, same blight, same objectives, exactly. And so, like, even if you drill down into the gameplay itself, it really isn't very good.
I'm referring to EA and BioWare, of course. So yeah, returning to that post from this Mike dude, I've seen a lot of people, often corpos, making similar takes to that, where they ignore the real policy issues going on at Western AAA companies, and instead they seem to try and deflect and cover for them. And keep in mind,
another big component for why a lot of people are losing interest in a lot of Western games is because Western games are turning into the same game. It's like basically every single game is the same. Where, and it's kind of like how...
So do you like Gondola? Nope. Not even close. That movie was bad.
You know how movies have turned into, like, kind of a Marvelization of movies?
I mean, if you like it, I would understand.
It's like a Fortniteization.
Not like you were at
where, like, after Fortnite's success, I feel like so many other games have tried to emulate that style in multiple ways, and that's caused them to have, like, a sameness to them. Yeah, the Ubisoft formula, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the games who plays like Ubisoft are freaking Rise of the Tomb Raider. You remember that?
Are other issues going on at these corporations? For example, their inflated expenses. However, Mike is specifically talking about why people aren't buying their games, which is why I focused on discussing that specific point. And it's really weird how often certain types of people try to ignore how delving into DEI has verifiably caused a negative impact on many game sales. But moving on.
I do think that's a huge problem, is that a lot of developers and journalists try to ignore the problem and hope that it goes away. And, like, you know, here's what's going to happen. You're going to ignore the problem, and it is going to go away. The people are going to leave. That's what's going to happen. And I see this all the time where they're, like, running defense for it and, like, trying to pretend like, oh, yeah, there aren't a lot of people that think this. Well, if you go...
Like, at the end of the day, you were just making a product, and then the people that just don't like the product, you have to cater towards the audience, too. Like, if you can't just open a meat shop and then sell freaking vegetarian stuff. Like, that's never gonna work. People are there for meat. You gotta give them meat.
The YouTube channel, and you look at the amount of people that are responding to this, I do actually think that, like, an official...
I think the story is bad. The characters are not likable. And the music sucks, and then they just yell a lot.
Official trailer getting a really bad reception on YouTube does absolutely play into people's opinions.
And that movie, like, shouldn't
maybe
be
not
two
these
movies.
super normies, but there probably aren't that many super normies. Like, there's a lot of people that play video games and like playing video games, and they look at YouTube. Like, a lot of people use YouTube.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're going to see that, and they're going to scroll down to the comments, and they're going to be like, wow, a lot of people really think this game sucks. I don't want to play it.
Yep.
That's the real reason. I use the show dislike button. If I see 90% dislike ratio, I'm staying away. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people. So this whole, like, basically, I think that there's a lot of, like, game studios that are banking on basically low information gamers instead of low information voters buying their games, even though their games have bad reputations, inside of more invested communities. And I think that's what companies like Ubisoft they're trying to bank on.
Hmm.
I want to talk about the Game Awards. Look at this.
Through
Says,
access journalism. That's why every time you just search for a wiki, what do you call it? Dragon Age Mailguard review, you show IGN shows up first and say the game is 9 out of 10.
According
Pretty
to the
much.
official website of the Game Awards, the opinion of the fans counts in the selection of the winners, but the value of the fan vote is much smaller than that of the jury vote. Thus, the jury's decision counts for 90% compared to 10% for the popular vote, aka the fan vote.
Yeah, I talked about
and
this
so
earlier.
The jury vote is right here. The jury includes IGN, Inverse, Jeff Gerstmann Show, Kinda Funny, LA Times, Min Max, PC Gamer, Polygon, VentureBeat, The Verge, Tough Arcade, What's Good Games, Game Rant,
All of them known for their dishonesty with their game reviews. God
NPR,
damn.
Pride.com, and Variety.
That is
So
fictional
as you
life.
can see, most of this list by far
Totally represents me as a gamer. Oh, yeah. Oh, these are the people that are really going to be able to tell me what the best games are.
Yeah,
For
real
sure.
gamers right there.
has like nothing to do with gaming, but here you go. This is the jury for the Game Awards. I also know that most gamers, like, we don't care about this stuff at all. We don't care about the Game Awards. This is just some corpo nonsense, but it's another example of how lame
I think people care about it. It's not a big deal. Like, I mean, who gives a shit at the end of the day? But it does matter. Sure, it matters.
Stuff is, and I thought it would be pretty funny to take a look at. Also hilarious how Kinda Funny is on this list, when just the other day we were talking about Andy Cortez from Kinda Funny and how he went on this giant rant about gamers. He was like so mad that
It was like a minute rant, but like, you know.
Gamers dare criticize DEI. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about these topics in the comments, and if you missed the earlier video about 2B and Ubisoft and all that, consider checking it out.
When I saw this, I thought it was Leon cosplaying as 2B.
Oh my, it looks
This is
so
Leon.
fucking bad.
That's Leon.
Oh my
Come on.
god, how does it look that bad?
Out too.
That's
Hope you
straight
enjoyed
up
today's
Leon
segments.
right there.
Consider liking and or subscribing if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.
I just don't know
Goddamn.
what to say. Just literal trash. What do you think about game devs?
This is
That
a
doesn't
real
look like
tweet from
Leon at
Xbox.
all. I'm saying it.
What do you think if the
Hey,
panel was
that
game
girl
devs
is looking
instead
that
that aren't
manly.
being represented? I think that they should make it like, I think it should be a panel vote, but I think that it should be 80-20 with like fans being 80% and the panel being like 20%, somewhere around there. So I do think that there should be like some degree of editorial control that's exercised, but it shouldn't be like a 90-10 against fan voting, right? Yeah, fill up the panel with haters. Yeah, fan-based 100%. I think that's fine, but I feel like fan-based 100%, like, you can do that already. You just look at Steam charts, and the game that has the most people playing it on Steam charts, that's the one that wins, right? It's pretty simple. Let's go and like Cotton Tomatoes. Well, I don't know about cotton tomato. The fuck is a cotton tomato? I'll link you guys the video. I feel like what's happened is that I can't believe they would tweet this out. You're living in one of the greatest ages right now. And here's the thing. It's really funny because actually I agree with them, but not because of Dragon Age. I feel like there's so many really good games that are coming out all the time now. All the time there's great games that are getting released. And now, like, I feel like it's just, there's so much focus put on the bad games that we never think about the good games.
What's the wordplay I'm talking about? Why they are yapping so much? Wordplay I'm yapping why? Well, you gotta see their video to figure out why they are doing that. Check out my review and then check out their review and then you can figure out why they are talking about it that much.